Hello everyone and welcome to A Slice of My Life. I am back after spending about a good almost 3 weeks with the Tungsten Invictus on my EDC. Yep, every single day. And I gotta tell you guys that I think this video is gonna be a really quick one because my first impressions versus what I think about the Tungsten Invictus now are still the same. I gotta tell you guys, this is a really fun spinner to own and it's really fun to fidget with. And next thing I want to say is that I actually swapped the bearings out. The stock bearing that came with this was pretty gritty. Yeah, but I changed it out for the Nibiru Bearings by Unquiet Hands. Nibiru. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but I think it's just Nibiru. I'm just pronouncing it the way it's read in English. So I put the Nibiru bearings in this, and I gotta tell you, I took a spin time test and I'm getting like 8, almost 9 minutes on a two-handed table spin. I'm pretty amazed, and I don't think I will waste your time by showing you guys that spin time video because I think that the spin time video is going to be longer than this video itself. So yeah, just take my word for it, okay? Just take my word for it. The Nibiru bearings are really awesome. They are not the smoothest offered by Unquiet Hands. Hands down, the smoothest are the Jupiter bearings, but the Nibiru bearings, in my opinion, are my favorite bearings because check out that sound. That whir. And that feedback, this is just awesome. So okay, away from the bearings and back onto the Tungsten Invictus. I mentioned that in my initial impressions video that the Tungsten Invictus made the original stainless steel Invictus that I had feel like aluminum, and I gotta tell you guys, it still stands. This is super fidgetable, and having this guy on my EDC for the past almost 3 weeks has made it feel like it's normal to have a spinner of this weight. And then every time I tried to handle another spinner, I felt that, well, that's kind of light now. And it's really because of this guy, you know, this has actually spoiled my sense of weight when it comes to metals, you know, because you know tungsten is such a dense metal. This one really fidgets pretty well, even though it is quite heavy. And by quite heavy, I mean it's about the 190 gram range. I don't know exactly, but I'm just estimating that it's about 190 grams because I've handled spinners that are above 200 grams before, and this one is just a little bit lighter than that. So I really don't have much I would say about this except the fact that I do know that they are being offered right now. It is a pre-order listing on the Damned Designs website. They are going for 160 USD, and in my opinion $160 for this of that machining quality, this is totally worth it. The next thing I want to say is that yes, it is a press fit retention system. I changed the bearings out, so I actually put some Loctite in there, but you should also be happy to know that this is a very well made core, and the bearing retention slot here is of the same exact height as what a bearing is, so it's gonna sit flush. And I'm talking about the bearings will sit flush in that slot over there. And the buttons here, they do have a lip, so they do cover the slot, they go around the slot pretty well, and it does offer an extra layer of protection, you know, some dust protection there. It's always good. And I'm really happy that these are dedicated male and female buttons as well. So this is what I believe you would get, you know, when you purchase the Tungsten Invictus. It is still one of my favorite bar spinners, and I gotta say that even though this is made of tungsten, you know, the fidgetability factor is still there. It's still really fun to handle, still really fun to pull, push forward, to jib jab even. Check it out. So the only way it's possible is because this thing is super ergonomic. None of that was lost when it was translated from the stainless steel version over to the tungsten version. And a lot of times, you know, spinners out there in the market, when a tungsten version is made, there's going to be slight differences in the nuances because of the properties of tungsten itself. But to see now that this is so well done, this is actually pretty mind-blowing. The buttons, they do feel good. They are the spiral design buttons, and in my opinion, they are finished way better than all the other previous versions of the spiral design buttons, simply because that spiral cut doesn't leave any sharp edges at all. I don't know how this is done, but you can see a bit of polishing on the top of the button, so I believe that polishing actually helped to kind of round that sharpness away quite a bit. And if you really stare closely inside, you could still see the machine milling in the spiral grooves, and that is quite sick. See that? That's quite sick. Yeah, just small little things that I noticed, and I think that it is just what adds to the entire package of this spinner. Also, there's one thing I wanted to tell you guys, a little bit of information. I'm going to take the buttons off again because I want to show you guys that middle part over here. See that design nuance in the middle? That kind of sharp angled shape there. Adrian mentioned that this was actually the original design of the Invictus before it was released. You know, the first batch that was run, it was stainless steel, so I'm not sure why this wasn't translated out into the first batch. Maybe it was due to some limitations or something, but it's really nice to know that it is featured here because that design nuance, apart from the Damned Designs logo, is what sets it apart from the older runs of the Invictus. And I think that's really cool because you see, that design in my opinion just really stands out. Like, it's right smack in the middle and it doesn't have any machining marks in it, but if you look at it this way, it looks kind of like a like a cool arrow kind of thing because of that mark. Prior to this, it wasn't really there. There was a small little triangular hole, but not the triangle groove itself. And of course, you could actually still see it even with the buttons on, and I like that a lot. That is pretty sick, I gotta say. It's pretty sick. So there is not much else that I want to share with you guys about this spinner except the fact that it is on pre-order. I believe that there are like, what, maybe 4 or 5 pieces left. So if you want to get one for yourself, you gotta act quick, and I believe that they will be ready and released, or maybe shipping will commence in about a couple of weeks time. But of course, don't quote me on that. You gotta wait for the official word from Damned Designs itself. But I gotta tell you guys, this thing, despite the way it's made, really just, I don't know, man. This is just really enjoyable to have, and I think it's a wonderfully made spinner. This, in my opinion, if I, say for example, had got it like a year ago, I think it would have set the standard really high. It would have set a really high bar for every other spinner released ever since then. Because look at it, it's tungsten. It's got very beautifully done machine marks. That surface milling there is just crazy. It's got a wonderful texture. It is so well finished and well made, and I just gotta say, man, it's ergonomic. Feels good in hand, really fidgetable. This is a wonderful spinner. I mean, of course, you guys already know that the Invictus is one of my favorite bar spinners to start with, and so this being in tungsten is just more than impressive to me. And that's about it, everyone. I guess I just wanted to share with you guys that this is my follow-up. You know, I promised one, and this is it. I am just super enjoying this, and in my opinion, $160 is totally worth it. So that's my final verdict, everyone. I didn't even have to say what is my final verdict. You guys already know. And I think that if you guys are out there in the market for a tungsten spinner, especially if it's a bar you're looking for, this is the way to go, in my opinion. Like, it's the whole design of it is so cool, very well done, good machining, wonderful price, $160. You can't go wrong with that. Yep, just hop on it, because I think that if you miss out on it, it might be too late, and you might never ever get a chance to own a Tungsten Invictus ever again. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, because yeah, sometimes Damned Designs say that they're gonna stop running spinners, but in the end, you know, the demand from their customers are so high that they decide, I'm gonna release a limited number drop. I don't know how many exactly are offered during this particular run, but I'm gonna say that this, yep, won't last forever. And that's about it, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing in this slice of my life and sticking all the way throughout. I hope that I provided enough information to help you decide whether or not the Tungsten Invictus is a spinner for you. I'm just gonna let it spin so you can actually see it slow down really slow. It's what happens when you pair a really well-weighted spinner with a really good bearing. You'll get that really slow spin goodness. And if you guys want to support the channel, yes, I do run a Patreon page. I'll put a link in the description box down below, and I'll also put a link to this spinner in the description box down below as well, because that's what I always do, right? You guys know. And if you like the content that I'm doing here, I hope that you guys consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell button, because if you don't do that, then you won't be notified of any new updates or any new uploads to my channel. And you see that slowing down, guys? Just watch it slowing down like that. That is just awesome, man. I don't know, man. There's something just so soothing about watching a spinner slow down like that, especially when it gets to the final stretch. It's just really awesome. And that's about it, everyone. I guess I shall end the video here, and I will catch all of you in the next slice of my life. And until then, everyone, thank you once again. Gaga Boost.